Archangel Michael warns someone you trust made a secret deal. Don't skip this message, because what you need to know is hidden right beneath the surface. Chosen one, your test is done. You can feel it because your spirit has already started getting ready. Even if your everyday life hasn't caught up yet. You might still be in the same room, see the same walls, and answer the same calls. But deep inside, you're not living at that old place anymore. This isn't just random, it's not a mood swing. It's not just you being impatient and calling it faith. It's the quiet proof that a difficult time has ended. God often changes things inside you before He changes the world around you. He doesn't always announce big changes with loud thunder. Sometimes, He just takes away your desire for things that used to pull you away. Sometimes, old talks just feel too small. Sometimes, He makes you feel out of place in spots you once prayed for Him to bless. The waiting is over. Doesn't mean everything outside has changed. It means the challenge has done its work within you. The tough times taught what they needed to. The delays helped you grow in ways you needed to. The quiet moments showed you what was important. What comes next isn't rushed. It's about being ready. Breathe like someone who has been carried through more than anyone knows. Gather what is truly good. Leave behind what is finished. The future God has for you isn't calling the old you forward. It's calling the new, stronger you forward. There's something special about hearing this today. The world feels a bit calmer. Your soul has more room to speak its truth. Maybe the past week is still weighing on you. And maybe you woke up feeling heavy. A kind of tiredness that even sleep couldn't fix. Imagine an open suitcase on the floor. Not full yet, not closed yet, just waiting. The morning light slowly fills the room. And it feels like God is standing by the door with calm patience. That suitcase isn't just for clothes. It's about what your spirit is collecting. It's about what your soul is no longer willing to bring into the place God has for you. The bag is open because this chapter is closing. You've been living in survival mode for too long. You've gone over old hurts long enough. You've tried to explain yourself to people who were never meant to understand your future. Deep down, the answer has already begun. The old room might still be around you, but the old season is no longer inside you. Chosen one, this is why you felt different lately. You haven't been able to enjoy the things that used to make you feel numb. Those distractions still work for others, but not for you anymore. You try to look at your phone, laugh, eat, sleep, and move on. But your spirit keeps rising above the noise. You're not restless because you're ungrateful. You're not restless because you're being dramatic. You're not restless because you failed to trust God. You're restless because the place that once held you can't hold the person you've become. That feeling isn't pride, it's wisdom. It's the part of you that has learned the cost of giving your precious energy to places that only take from you. You're not better than others. You're simply being called to a different path. You might also feel sadness and peace at the same time. Sadness means something mattered. Peace means it can't control you anymore. Both feelings can live in your heart while God mercifully closes a chapter. Don't be surprised if your body feels restless while your spirit feels calm. Your body remembers the old ways. Your spirit recognizes the new instructions. One part of you wants proof before moving, while another part already knows things have changed. This isn't confusion, it's a crossing over. The strongest sign isn't what you feel. It's what no longer has power over you. There was a time when one message could ruin your day. One moment of silence could send you spinning. One closed door could make you doubt your worth. One person leaving could make you feel like life itself had abandoned you. But look at you now. You might still feel pain. You might still have moments of fear. You might still need to take deep breaths through the hurt. Yet, that old thing doesn't own you the way it used to. That's proof. That's growth. That's the evidence many people miss, because they only look for big miracles outside themselves. Sometimes the first miracle is that you stop reacting like your old, hurt self. You stopped begging for attention from people who couldn't really see you. You stopped trying to explain your feelings to those who were set on misunderstanding you. You stopped believing that rejection meant you weren't worthy, chosen one. That's why this test is different. The test didn't end just because time passed. The test ended because something in your character responded differently. The test was in how you reacted. Would you act from hurt or from wisdom? The test was in your silence. Could you obey without applause? The test was in who you believed you were. Could you still feel chosen when nobody cheered? You weren't held back because God forgot you. You were held back because He was building what could carry the promise. God saw where you were going, but He also saw the version of you that would get there. And because He is kind, He didn't let your gifts get ahead of your foundation. That is love, even when it felt like delay. That is protection, even when it felt like rejection. That is a plan, even when it felt like silence. Heaven wasn't doing nothing during the months you thought nothing was changing. This is the formed you. This is the steadier you. This is the you that can hear God in a whisper, not just in a storm. That's why your spirit is getting ready. Pack your bags. Doesn't mean run off without thinking. It doesn't mean quit everything just because one sentence stirred your emotions. It doesn't mean ditch your duties or confuse a sudden urge with real guidance. Pack your bags means stop making lasting commitments to a temporary time. Stop calling old burdens your personality. Stop asking God to bless a place He's teaching you how to leave. Stop settling for patterns that make you smaller than what you're meant to be. Some of you have been quietly preparing for months. You stopped reacting. You stopped oversharing. You stopped looking for answers from people who only reopened wounds. You stopped letting every opinion into the private space of your spirit. That was getting ready. That was preparation. That wasn't nothing. Heaven saw the strength in every quiet no you gave to your old self. Chosen one, you aren't being asked to pretend you're ready. You're being invited to see that you already are. Please know that every seed you plant in this mission grows into a torch that shines in someone else's darkness. Whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our community, does not go to a channel. Your actions are supporting a divine mission to save lost souls. But more than your support, we want your presence. When you head to our community through the link in the description or the pinned comment, You aren't just visiting a site. You are entering a community of like-minded believers. This is a sanctuary where you can post your prayer requests, lift up the burdens of others, and engage in daily discussions with a family that speaks the language of faith. Whether you are joining one of our membership tiers for deeper study, sowing a seed of faith, or simply joining our daily morning prayers, you are helping us build a global altar of worship. Heaven moves through willing voices, but it grows through a community that stands together. Each gift you give acts as living water for those in our community seeking healing and hope. Give, and it will be given to you, is the promise that sustains our shared mission. I invite you now to step out of the shadows and into this circle of prayer. Come with purpose, join the conversation, and plant your seed in fertile ground. Let's open the heavens together. Release your seed today, join our community, and see what God brings back into your life. Today is a turning point. Not because this day on the calendar has magic, but because you are finally paying enough attention to hear what your spirit has been telling you all week. But hope isn't your enemy. False urgency is the enemy. Despair is the enemy. That old voice that says nothing will ever change is the enemy. Hope that comes from God doesn't make you careless. It makes you open to what's next. You are allowed to believe again, slowly, wisely, humbly. You are allowed to get ready without knowing every single detail. You are allowed to clean your inner house before the door fully opens. There's also a practical side to this. Your future isn't just about spiritual things. It touches your mind. It touches what you focus on. It touches how you hear directions, and how you get clear again after years of confusion. What if that confusion wasn't who you really are? What if the slow feeling you blamed on age, stress, disappointment, or weakness wasn't the truth about you? What if part of getting ready means getting support for the clear thinking God put in you before the world taught you to second? Guess yourself. For now, hold on to this thought. God didn't just get the door ready. He prepared the mind and heart that would walk through it. Your future needs your spirit wide awake. It also needs your thoughts clear. There's a holy difference between being still and being stuck. Stillness listens. Stuckness avoids. Stillness waits with your lamp ready. Stuckness keeps putting off doing what you know you should and calls it smart. You don't need to force the door. You don't need to create drama. You don't need to prove to anyone that you heard God. The next step won't need panic. It will need things to be in order. And getting in order starts with one honest sentence. I cannot live from the old season anymore. Say it in your heart if you can. I cannot live from the old season anymore. Not with hate, not with arrogance, not with bitterness, but with truth. The test is over because the lesson has become part of who you are. You are no longer the same person who begged for tiny bits of attention. You are no longer the same person who called confusion love. You are no longer the same person who thought constant struggle meant you were spiritually deep. You are becoming quieter, but not weaker. You are becoming softer, but not easier to trick. You are becoming more patient, but not more likely to delay what God has clearly told you to do. The suitcase is open. The room is quiet. The light is different. You don't have to understand every single step today. You only have to stop pretending that nothing inside you has changed. Chosen one. The bag is open because the season is closed. Take this truth with you into the rest of your day. The test is over, but what the test meant still needs to sink in. The waiting wasn't for nothing. The silence wasn't wasted. The tough times had lessons hidden under the dust. And your spirit is ready to understand why the path had to be so long. Chosen one. The waiting wasn't empty. It only looked empty from the outside. People saw the quiet and thought nothing was happening. But God was doing a deep work that couldn't be seen by public movement. He was forming the part of you that nobody cheers for. What felt like delays was actually growth. What felt like silence was instruction. What felt like rejection was a new direction. What felt like being hidden was protection. Because some places would have celebrated your gifts, while slowly draining your spirit. You thought you were being held back. You were being held together. You thought the door was closed because you weren't good enough. You were being kept from going in before. You were ready to handle what you were praying for. Chosen one, there are times when God doesn't explain why you're in the wilderness. Because the wilderness itself is the explanation. It shows you what still controls you. It shows you what you're still afraid to lose. It shows you where your obedience stops when comfort is gone. That place was tough. Don't pretend it was easy. You cried there. You doubted there. You wondered if you heard God wrong there. But even in that place, something holy was growing beneath the pain. This is why the test took time. God wasn't just trying to get you out. He was teaching you how not to go back. There's a kind of freedom that can scare someone who has lived in survival mode for too long. Think of Moses standing on the edge of moving forward after years in the wilderness. The promise wasn't just about land. It was about people learning to stop thinking that being held captive was home. Predictable pain can feel safer than an unknown blessing. That's hard to admit. But many people stay with what hurts them, because at least they know its rhythm. And the soul can mistake what's familiar for peace, when fear has been loud for too long. That's part of why you waited. You weren't just waiting for the door. You were becoming someone who wouldn't mess up the door once it opened. You were learning how to be steady. When things finally started moving, the test wasn't only about patience. It was about how much you could handle. It was about whether you could follow instructions without panicking. It was about whether you could receive more without losing the humble attitude that protected your soul. The test was in how you reacted. Would you act from hurt or from wisdom? Would you respond to an insult with your old anger? Or would you let silence protect what arguing couldn't fix? Would you keep giving access to people who only knew how to touch your raw spots? There were times when you wanted to prove yourself. You wanted to send that message. You wanted to explain the whole story. You wanted them to understand how much they hurt you, and how long you had carried what they never noticed. But you didn't always react the old way. Sometimes you put the phone down. Sometimes you let the conversation end. Sometimes you let God defend what your mouth was tired of protecting. The test was also in your silence. Could you obey without people praising you? Could you keep showing up when no one saw the sacrifice? Could you do the right thing when the reward wasn't clear and the people around you didn't understand your quietness? There's a lonely kind of obedience that doesn't look impressive. It looks like paying the bill. It looks like cleaning the room. It looks like not going back. It looks like praying with tired eyes and choosing not to become bitter. The test was in who you believed you were. Could you still feel chosen without public approval? Could you still believe you had a purpose when your life looked ordinary, delayed, hidden, and unfinished? Still, you didn't fully give up. Something in you kept leaning towards God. Something in you kept listening for the next step. Something in you refused to say the promise was dead, even when hope felt worn out. The test was in what you held onto. Could you let go of what felt familiar, but kept you small? Could you bless what had ended without worshiping it? Could you stop trying to rebuild a room God had already emptied? Holding on can sound spiritual when it's really fear. It says, maybe I should wait a little longer. It says, maybe this person will finally understand. It says, maybe the old place will change if I become smaller and ask for less. The test was in your ability to handle things. Could you carry more without becoming proud? Could you be trusted with being seen, and still stay gentle? Could you receive blessings and still remember the God who kept you when you had very little? This is why delays weren't punishment. They were kindness with tools in hand. It was God shaping the container before pouring more into it. Because too much without being ready can lead to disaster. There's a truth you need to let sink in. The new opportunity isn't the reward. The stronger version of you, the one God can trust with that opportunity, that's the reward. Many people think destiny is just a place. They think it's a new city, a new relationship, a new platform, new money, a new title, a new room where everyone finally sees what was hidden. But the reward is the person you became while waiting. The reward is the peace that no longer depends on one person replying. The reward is the clear thinking that no longer needs every stranger to approve what God already confirmed. The reward is the self-control you didn't have before. The reward is the wisdom that now notices what your loneliness used to excuse. The reward is the quiet strength that doesn't need to announce itself to be real. That's why the waiting season couldn't be skipped. You wanted to get in. God wanted you to embody the change. You wanted the promise. God wanted a person who could carry the promise without being crushed by it. An open door without being ready can become a trap. A blessing without wisdom can show unhealed parts. A relationship without knowing who you are can become another place where you give up on yourself just to be liked. So when you hear, pack your bags, don't just think about moving. Think about what fits. Think about what your next season can no longer have. Think about what your future can't afford to keep feeding. The old place taught you something. Respect the lesson, but don't worship the location. Some places are classrooms, not homes. Some people are mirrors, not true friends. Some struggles are teachers, not life sentences. You can be thankful for a season and still leave it. You can forgive someone and still stop giving them access. You can love what was and still admit that God isn't breathing life into it the same way anymore. chosen one. The old place can't handle the new work God has for you. It doesn't have the space. It doesn't have the right words. It doesn't have the strength to hold the weight of what God is putting on your life. This is why you feel both pulled and squeezed at the same time. The pull is your future calling. The squeeze is the old things losing their hold. The discomfort is what happens when who you are inside has outgrown your outer commitments. Let your body relax for a moment. Notice where you are. Maybe there's light in the room. Maybe there are dishes waiting. Maybe laundry is half folded. Maybe you're sitting in a car or walking slowly, or lying still with thoughts you can't say out loud. You don't have to be strong here. You don't have to solve your whole life right now. You don't have to turn this message into pressure. Just breathe, and let the truth find the part of you that has been tired. You got through more than people know. You kept going through weeks when your faith felt silent. You handled responsibilities while your own heart needed care. You dealt with life while secretly wondering if God still remembered His promise. Let that be enough for this breath. Not the whole plan, not every detail, just the knowing that your waiting was seen, your growth was seen, your quiet obedience was seen. This is where today's rhythm starts to matter. This morning gave you understanding. Midday gives you deeper insight. The light feels different now because the meaning is different. You aren't just hearing that the test is over. You're seeing what the test created. It created patience that isn't just waiting around. It created faith that doesn't need to be loud for attention. It created wisdom that doesn't need to explain itself every time it says no. Readiness isn't the absence of nervousness. Readiness is doing what God says, even with shaky hands. Readiness is gathering what is good and pure, while leaving behind what has run its course. Readiness is refusing to let fear pretend to be wisdom one more time. The next instruction isn't only about where you are going. It's about what can't come with you. Old anger can't come. The need for everyone to understand you can't come. The habit of making yourself smaller to keep the peace can't come. The addiction to chaos can't come. The story that says you are always too late can't come. You can bless the old season without bringing its dust into the next room. You can honor the wilderness without building your home there. You can remember the lesson without repeating the past mistakes. Chosen one. The waiting had to happen because God wasn't just getting something ready for you. He was getting you ready for something. And the part of you that is ready now was born in the place you thought would break you. That's why the test is over. Not because nothing else will ever challenge you. Not because every question has been answered. Not because the road ahead is easy. The test is over because the lesson has done its most important work. The waiting has given what it came to give. The tough times have spoken their final word over this version of you. What you gather next will matter. The next steps will need clear thinking, peace, obedience, and a different way of relating to your own mind. You can't carry every old thought into a future God prepared and expect to hear the next instructions clearly. So, let this sink in through the rest of your day. The waiting wasn't empty. The silence wasn't rejection. The delay wasn't a no. It was the hidden path that formed the person who can finally move forward. The old place can't handle the new work. The new work can't be carried by the old you. The old you has already lost its power over you. Chosen one, your spirit knows this. That's why it is getting ready. As this awakening grows inside you, know that helping with this mission is not a joke. It is a sign from God. You can support this work through the link in the description, or the pinned comment. Whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our Ko-Fi community. By doing so, you become part of Jesus' plan to save souls who are still stuck in fog. Every seed turns into light that fights against darkness. If you water others, you will be watered yourself, Jesus says. This is not history, it is a living promise about your future. Come into this moment with faith and a plan. What God has already planned for your life can be unlocked through your giving. Chosen one, this is where the message becomes practical. The test is over, but a finished test still needs a clean exit. You don't go through a time of intense growth, just to drag every old habit into the place God prepared. Pack your bags means gather what belongs to your future. Leave what belongs to your training ground. Don't rush. Don't panic. Don't make a big, dramatic decision just to feel like you're moving. Because your future doesn't need chaos to prove it's real. The first thing you pack is peace. Not the kind of peace that depends on everything being perfect. Not the peace that needs everyone to understand you. The peace you pack is the quiet refusal to let fear drive your decisions. You are not packing panic. You are not packing revenge. You are not packing the need to prove that everyone was wrong about you. Those things are too heavy, and they will make the next room feel like the old one. Pack alignment. Let your small choices agree with your next season. If God is calling you to clarity, stop feeding confusion. If God is calling you to self-control, stop making excuses for delays. If God is calling you to healing, stop reopening the same wound for people who never came to heal it. Alignment is quiet. It's what you respond to. It's what you ignore. It's what you allow. It's what you stop calling normal when God has already shown you it can't come with you. Pack clarity. Chosen one. Stop calling confusion humility. Sometimes you know what God has been saying, but you keep asking again, because the instruction needs a version of you that fear hasn't met yet. Clarity doesn't always come with a full map. Sometimes it comes as one clear next step. Apologize, apply, rest, leave, prepare, forgive, stop answering, start building, and tell the truth. Follow the kingdom's rules. Don't move out of fear, move when God tells you to. It's not always easy to feel strong when you first obey. It can feel small, quiet, and hard to see at times. But God knows how important it is to say yes, even if it means giving up comfort. Pack smarts. There will be more than just open doors for you next season. It could also bring back old tests in new forms. You'll also need eyes that can tell the difference between a chance and something else. Don't be angry. Do not use the old labels. Don't need to get even. Stop telling people your whole story, when all they want to do is find weaknesses to use against you later. Get out of the survival mindset. It helped you once. It kept you safe during rough nights. But survival was just a place to stay for a while. It's not who you are. You can be proud of how you made it through, without letting that define your future. Leave delayed obedience alone. That one is tough. Even though it sounds smart, it's often just fear dressed up as spirituality. When God has made it clear, waiting for the perfect feeling can be another way to say, no. Chosen one. Going into the new isn't always the hardest part of your journey. Sometimes it means letting go of the old home. Some people may still have memories of the old place. It could still have people you care about. It could still have ways of you that you know. But just because you understand a place doesn't mean you should stay there. Some people liked that you weren't sure, not because they were bad, not all the time. They knew how to connect with the smaller version of you sometimes. And now your growth makes them act like adults, which they don't want to do. Do not dislike them. Do not honor them. Don't base your plans on how they respond. If you can, bless them. You can let them go, but don't give them the keys to a room that God didn't build for them. The comfort of the old place will try to get you to go back. It won't always look dangerous. It might sound like something you know. It will feel warm sometimes. It will whisper sometimes. At least here you know who you are. But that's the catch. You already know who you were. You don't fully know who you are becoming yet. And when you've been let down in the past, the unknown can feel like danger. There's a reason why you shouldn't act carelessly when you're upset. Get ready inside first. Let the peace last. Allow wisdom to speak. Let confirmation come from what works, not from doing a lot of things at once. God doesn't need you to be in a hurry to show that you are devoted. Still, don't hide behind your wisdom. You know deep down when you're really waiting on God, and when you're just hoping that God changes something, so you don't have to do it. A lot of people don't pay attention to this last part of being ready. They talk about having faith. They talk about what they want. They talk about fate. But they never check to see if their mind is clear enough to handle what their spirit is telling them. Your calling needs you to have a heart that is awake. You also need to be able to think straight. It wants to focus. It needs to be able to get back to peace after being stressed. You need to come out of your fog and stop calling it humble. When you were younger, some of you remember being smarter. You quickly learned. You thought freely. You knew things before you could put them into words. You were not arguing with yourself every time an idea came up. Then life threw a lot at you: stress, disappointment, noise, duty, fear, and the need to perform. The clear part of you started to feel far away over time. What if you're not really that way? What if you're not lazy? What if you're not slow? What if you're not too old, too busy, or too hurt to be able to think straight again? What if God put something in you that has been held back, but not erased? There is honor in truth. As some of you have asked, here is a practical way to help you walk in more clarity. And there is a way to make this journey work. Based on neural sync technology, a group of people led by New York City neurologist Dr. Daniel Barron made an 8-minute special sound sequence. The goal is easy to understand. It's made to make your brain work better all around. The name for it is the Genius Switch. This is not an app for meditation. The machine isn't hard to use. Some people study it for weeks before they use it, but it's not a pill. That's what you do. You shut your eyes. Every day you listen for 8 minutes. This is important because it has to do with brain research by Dr. Roger Sperry, who won the Nobel Prize in 1981 for his work in this area. It is possible for the whole system to work better when brain connections get stronger. Think about what that means for you. If God is setting up a door for you, you still need to have a clear mind to walk through it. One woman said that she felt like life was just happening to her. She was worn out, she had a fuzzy head. All of her relationships, work, and home felt heavy at the same time. She also didn't need another hard routine that made her feel bad about herself. If you wait for a perfect sign after God has already spoken, that is also dangerous. From the outside, that might look spiritual. On the other hand, sometimes it's just delayed obedience with a face mask. God waits, but you shouldn't let fear lead you. If the instruction has been confirmed by peace, wisdom, good results, and a deep knowing over and over, don't keep asking for a big sign, because you're afraid to take the first step. It might still take guts to go through the next season. It might still need to be planned. You might still have to have conversations that make your voice shake. Being ready doesn't mean you don't have any fears. It means that fear is no longer in charge. Take a moment to let the day go more slowly. It might be getting dark where you are. The light might be different now. Maybe the room isn't as loud now. You might already be thinking about the coming week, with all of its lists, tasks, calls, bills, and things that need to be done. If it feels good, put one hand close to your chest. Take a deep breath without trying to show off. You don't need to work for this moment. Your faith doesn't need to sound great. Tell your body that it made it through a time that your mouth still can't fully explain. You got here, but it wasn't easy. You had doubts. And there were times when you almost turned around. But you made it this far with enough of your heart still open to hear God. That's important. Your kindness is important. Your toughness is important. Your private obedience is important. It was important that you quickly wiped away your tears before anyone walked in the room. No matter what words you used, the prayers you said were important. Your story doesn't end tonight. It's the end of something. It's like quietly closing a file from the past in your mind. You stop living as if the test is still deciding who you are at that point. You are not behind, chosen one. It's not too late. You didn't lose because the road took longer than you thought it would. Your future wasn't ruined by delays. Your goal wasn't erased by pain. God wasn't gone just because it was quiet. You did not start the test. That little piece of you did what it knew how to do. Be true to that version. Just don't give it the wheel for the rest of the trip. Don't shame it either. You're all set. You are now free. You have been sent. You're ready, because being ready isn't the same as being perfect. Being in tune with God is it. It means being ready to stop fighting with things that God has already finished. It takes guts to keep a season closed. You no longer have to stay in that old place. You don't have to explain yourself to everyone. You don't have to prove that the pain was real anymore. God was able to see it when no one else could. Peace be with you. It is wise that you were sent. You have been sent with the quiet authority of someone who has learned in secret. You don't have to be loud to be real. God can choose you even if no one else can see you. Say it in your heart, I am not behind. No matter how strong you are, say it, I am not disqualified. No matter how your voice shakes, say it, I am leaving with God. Don't worry about how well you say it. Being honest is better than putting on a show for heaven. The point is not how loud it is. The point is to agree. No part of you should agree with the lie that waiting made you less worthy. The wait made you stronger. You became smarter in the quiet. You were cleaner after going through hard times. Pain is holy, but not in and of itself. It's holy because God entered the pain and used the thing that was meant to bury you as soil. It's time to let go. Give up the old place. Let go of the places that were only holding your fear. Get rid of the part of you that said you were sorry for needing peace. Stop putting yourself down so that other people won't feel challenged by your growth. Don't be angry about having to wait. It's too heavy for the road ahead. It's okay to be honest about what hurt you, but you don't have to be bitter. When you're angry, every new door smells like the old wound. Let go of the need for people from your past to understand you. Some explanations cost a lot. They hurt the peace. They focus on cost. They hurt the hurt spot in you that God wants to heal. Don't be afraid to move forward. Fear can walk with you for a while, but it can't be in charge. If it has to be there, leave it. Do not let it hold the map. Though, kindly let go of the survival part of yourself. You were able to get through that one. That one stayed awake when no one came. It was too long and had too much in that version. Thank it, but don't give it power. Take what God is giving you right now. Getting clear means getting enough light for the next step, not all the details. Get courage, but not the kind that makes you feel fearless. Get courage that makes you do what you're told. Even though your hands are shaking, get control over yourself, not punishment or shame. With self-control, you can follow the life God wants you to live. To love your future self, you need to have self-control. Self-control means agreeing with what will happen. Get ready for God's perfect timing. The kind that doesn't look at your path through the lens of someone else's. The kind that can help someone else, and not use their success against you. Get the ready-made path. It might not look just the way you thought it would. It may start out smaller than your ego thought it would be. It might need to be humble before it can be seen, and consistent before it can be celebrated. Get the heart and mind you need to walk through the door. A clear head, a pure heart, a steady spirit, and a body that learns to be at peace again, after years of getting ready for impact. Don't feel bad about asking for help. Get help without being proud. Learn from the tools, people, routines, and quiet disciplines God uses to make the person He sends stronger. Pay attention to what you felt when someone talked about supporting your clarity earlier. It may have made you feel something honest. This is the link to the resource from Dr. Barron and his team. If your spirit says it is true, it should be help, not pressure. Even if that doesn't work for you, you can still get the deeper truth: God loves all of you. Your mind, your body, your spirit, your choices, your peace, and your ability to hear and follow. There's nothing about your next season that needs you to get crazy. There is no reason in your destiny for you to betray your healing. You are not being asked by God to rush from pain to responsibility without stopping to take a deep breath. It's His job to teach you how to walk straight, clean, awake, and properly. Now put a seal on what was said. Finish the lesson. It wasn't empty though. The silence wasn't a sign of rejection. The delay wasn't an answer no. The test didn't show that you were forgotten. God made plans there for what the future would need. Protect your name. You are not the one who was left behind. You are not the one who was forgotten. You're not the one who was turned down. There is no one else who is always late besides you. You have been picked. God is shaping you. This is how you are being led. With a ready heart. You are being taken to a place that is ready. Don't sign your obedience with fear, hype, or a promise to make everything better before dawn. Sign it with a sincere yes. Put a seal on it with the next faithful step. Put a quiet refusal to go back to what God has already done around it. Mark this day as an important one. Not because the date decides your future, but because consent, focus, and giving up are important. There are times when the heart stops fighting with God and starts to walk. Now is one of those times. You don't have to tell everyone about it. You don't have to show proof online. You don't have to give a speech to the people who laughed at your confusion. Allow your life to become the message over time. There is less weight in the bag now. You aren't leaving what God told you to leave because things are easy, not because life is easy. There is no longer anger stuffed away in the corners. No longer do you hide your fear behind spiritual words. Put away what is pure, leave what's already done. Follow God, use your brains. Feel thankful. Use your judgment. Bring peace. Keep in mind how God kept you safe even when you didn't understand how. Don't be ashamed. Don't compare yourself to other people. Don't believe the old story that says you're almost there but never quite there. Don't listen to the voice that says your best years are over. There may still be work to do next week. It could still have emails on it. It might still have to deal with traffic, bills, questions, and other normal tasks. But everyday life is different when an old identity is no longer strong. You might wake up in the same room tomorrow. The ceiling might look the same to you. You could make coffee or drive the same way. You won't have the same agreement though. That's often how change starts. There's too much going on at once. However, your soul is no longer bound by the old agreement, chosen one. The waiting didn't work out. You passed the test. You were still there after the silence. The delay did not get you kicked out. You didn't get your name from the hard times. God has already moved on. That doesn't mean you'll know everything. It means someone will walk with you. This means that grace will meet you where you are, not where you think you're strong enough to go. Peace should be the sound that ends this day. Let being thankful be the breath that starts a new day. Let obedience be easy enough to do when you're not feeling very strongly about something. You can no longer see the door behind you. It's right in front of you. There is no longer any fear in the bag. What made it through the fire and came out clean is inside. The test is over, chosen one. Get your things together. Now is the time to walk into what God planned. You are about to enter your divine future. But remember, this breakthrough is not for you alone. Your testimony is the bridge someone else will use to reach their own miracle. Archangel Michael is inviting you to visit community through the link in the description or the pinned comment. Whether by buying a coffee, making a donation, or becoming a member of our community, does not go to a channel. Your actions are supporting a divine mission to save lost souls. By joining our like-minded community, you are no longer praying in isolation. You are adding your voice to a global sanctuary, where we discuss the Word daily, and stand in the gap for one another. This is not poetry when Jesus says, "Give, and heaven will open over you." On this platform, every seed you plant turns into oil for your destiny, fire for your calling, and a hedge of safety for your family. Now is your time. Step into our community prayer wall, share your heart, and as you give, watch God multiply what you let go of. Let's finish this journey together. Visit our community now, join the family, and see your heavens open. Before we get to the end of this powerful story, let's reflect on this deep truth. You did not find this message by accident. This is a divine appointment meant specifically for you. You are being invited into a protected, faith-filled community at the link in the description and pinned comment, a place where divine abundance is not just a hope, but a promise built on the Word. By heading to the site right now, you are unlocking access to a sacred community of like-minded believers. When you join our membership tiers, you gain immediate entry to powerful content, daily devotions, and divine insights that are hidden from the world. This is your chance to enter a sanctuary where you will receive spiritual guidance, unwavering support on our prayer wall, and speedy progress toward your destiny. Do not let this moment of destiny pass you by. Your breakthrough is waiting. Join our inner circle through the exclusive link in the description. This is how you guarantee you never miss the personalized messages and spiritual warfare tools meant to elevate your life. If you feel called to deepen your connection, the link is waiting for you in both the pinned comment and the description. For those who want to amplify this work and carry the light home, you can find our guided ebooks and Bibles in the pinned comment. Whether you join as a member or sow a seed through our resources, your presence and energy change the world. Take the step. Your abundance awaits.